Hello and welcome everyone. This is going to be an MARA trade breakdown. As you see, we have 53 ask above print personality. So what does that mean? It means that on average, our normal print personality is going to be about 2 or 3. So you see that burst above 53, that's average print personality. But that big burst at 53, way above average. What does that mean? That means that we should see a number one short trade from that. And now we have to dissect the timing of that. So just from the intervals, a 50-cent pullback would be needed if it was at average print personality, but that being above, we're looking for a dollar pullback. But we have to understand that we're at the open and the market makers have the most volume to accumulate quickly, so we can see this being a quick number one short trade and it setting up for a number four trade long. We could see this hold 52.50. So the two situations we have here is that we get a quick pullback, the number four holds 52.50. The second case scenario here is we get our pullback all at once to 52, but we would need to see some riders here above 52.50 to show that we have the ability to break. Somebody steps in with urgency to show that they're going to make money to 52, and at this moment there's not a single person that has shown up on the bid side of things that shows that they're going to make money to 52. Rich mentioned that our highest percent trades in the morning will always be towards the prints, and why this is because the market makers have the most volume to accumulate and build as quickly as possible. So for a pullback to be greater than 50 cents, to pullback to be $1, we really need to see those riders, and I don't see those stepping in, even though it needs to be above print personality. It needs to be 5, 6, 7, and a few bursts followed by that to really show that we can get there. Ideal situation for a number one short trade here in this stock would be we get overextended and then we look for number one short trade. But right now we are pulling back. It has pulled back 50 cents. So it quite possibly could pull back to 52 here, but I don't see the riders for it. A couple bids there at 52.50. If you're in this short, you have to be mindful of the number four trade that could play out here. Highest percent trades are always going to be towards the prints in the morning because they have the ability to build as quickly as possible with given volume. So the staircase pattern here, if you look at the volume, it's also dipping off, holding 52.50. I mean, I don't see the selling again to really show that we're going to break 52, really. And again, we're setting up in that volume pattern, and then we have the buying above. That is great buying. Looking for a number four long trade here, or the selling here to show that we can break 52 and get to 52.50. And in this case, a few more ask at 53. Looking for a number four long trade here. Just looking for any indication of prints here. I mean, we are in a pattern here. It's kind of a consolidation here. Looking for an indication to, are we going to get a larger pullback from those 53 ask to 52? Or are they going to pull back? Is 50 cent quick enough of a pullback for them to make money to the long side? For their position at 53 to be in the money, for them to make a push of 53.50 to even 54. We need to see some off-level riders to the downside, or we need to see the ask or the volume and price action to the upside, which we got the price action and volume to the upside currently. This is our number four trade. Just got to be mindful here if you are long, though, of the possibilities. Just understanding how large that 53 was. 50 cent pullback overall is not significant for this stock. But given volume and the morning, they had as much volume as they needed to accumulate. Number four trade, stair step, long entry. Still looking for something above 53, like in terms of off-level prints, to show that we can get to 54 or 53.50. And I'm just not currently seeing that at all. It's not really showing us. We need some more information here to see if we're going to get a move to 54 or this is going to end up going to 52 for the number 4 trade or the number 1 trade to be satisfied. Obviously, this isn't a current number 4 trade, but it's just slightly above 53. It did give us a trigger for the number 4 trade, but like we're looking for that continuation here. We need to see that off-level buying or this push to 53.50 and give us ask, or else we're just kind of in that middle ground. So just setting up here, looking for, again, an indication in terms of the prints, in terms of ask, to show that we can make a real push here. We had our game plan here. We identified and created a whole game plan off of the 53 ask above print personality. We outlined that number 1 short trade has a possibility to be quick, and we outlined the possibility of number 4 trade, and we also outlined the possibility of that 53 ask to pull back to 52, but we would need the riders to show that. And given we didn't get the riders in terms of bid to the downside to make that move, and now we have 52.99. Those are ballsy prints. We have to think about it in terms of the 53 ask. That told us that it needs a dollar pullback to build, but then when we get to 52.99 ask, that's ballsy. That shows that individual knows that this is not going to build in the short term. They're telling us that we're going to get a push to at least 54. That person needs to make at least $1, if not $1.50. So our price target is going to be 54 to be conservative. It is above print personality burst, so we might look for a quick pullback here and then for entry long. But that's exactly what we needed. We needed that off level to show us that we have the ability to break 53.50, but in this case, this showed us that it has the ability to break 54. And we're getting a quick little pullback, and we're just looking for a new entry. But again, that 53 ask and that ballsy prints there, they fit hand in hand. They tell us that, okay, that 53 is not looking to make to build right now, because we're looking at it in terms of why would that 52.99 step in on the ask so heavy if they were going to pull back and build for $1? That wouldn't make any sense. They would want to, that 52.99 position would want to be much lower. That position shows us urgency. It shows us that they're going to make money, and they're going to make money in the short term to the long side. So now we're just looking for a pattern. We're looking for an entry. We're looking for a trigger. We're looking for the volume, and we're good to go. So again, guys, those prints fit hand in hand. They give us a confirmation of time frame that we're going to get this long quickly. Our whole 53.50 there out on the ask above print personality. We might get a quick little pullback here, but really that position at 52.99 needs to make more than 50 cents. So we have to understand that. But like I was saying, we had those 53 ask above print personality, and when we got those, we were setting up a game plan. So we didn't have any clue on time frame, right? We understood that, okay, it's in the morning, they have the most volume, this could be a quick pullback, but they gave us definitive timing. They gave high percentage timing. They showed us someone stepping in that said timing, right? We weren't making an assumption about the volume in the morning and the possibilities. We weren't outlining all the possibilities, right? That showed us definitively to a high percentage what was going to happen. I don't really know if I even articulated that good or in any decent manner, but 53, we were setting up scenarios and game plans based on those ask above print personality. But then that person that came in, they showed us, okay, this is the exact one that we're going to take. This is the scenario that we're going towards. And shocking that this trade is playing out, right? Someone stepped in ballsy, showed us how we're going to read those ask at 53 above print personality. They said, this is how you should read it. This is the situation and scenario that is going to happen to a high percentage based off of the burst, the timing burst, off-level burst, ballsy burst. right? So, and then we got 54 aspirants. Those are above print personality, and those were aspirants. Those were not in between. I watched them execute, and I had them on both computers, and I watched them execute. So those were ask. And again, aspirants at 54, above print personality. Now we're getting to this to the spot was our price target. We already hit our price target. That person is up over $1 right now, and that's how much they needed to make. To be conservative was over $1. So at this point, we know we have aspirants at 53, 53.50, and 54 above print personality that desperately need a pullback. So at this point, if you're long, you have to be playing defense. And if you're not long, and if you're looking for a number one short trade, again, an overextended short trade, this would be a good situation to be looking at. So if you're looking for a short trade here, you be patient. Identify the setup and take the trigger and understand what is needed. Don't just take something that's overextended and is continuing to push, right? Sorry about this command line. I didn't really see it. This was recording on my second computer, but overextended, high possibility of a pullback here for about $1. We'd be looking for a pullback to about 53 conservative. Realistically, should get to 52. From how much is shown at each level without a proper pullback and how it typically pulls back. So 54.50 real weak aspirants compared to how it's printed at previous levels. So that's an indication of a possible pullback here. And I would be looking for a trigger right here. Price target is 53. Again, get overextended, unsustainable volume bar, all the way up to 54.50, real weak ask. Just on those weak ask alone, and this price action towards the downside, I would have already been looking for that trigger short. But and there's our short trade right there. But still looking for more room as well, though. Just understanding how overextended it is. We know that 52.99 person already made their money. Over $1 trade for them. And then you have to start considering how overextended the stock is. So that pullback trade, the number one short trade, was high percentage as well. For at least $1 here. I mean, not for nothing, that's $1 trade right there in itself right here. But I mean, there's still more room just for how overextended this is. Boom. I mean, that's $1 trade right there off of 54.50. Real weak aspirants there. Overextended. Real nice dollar trade there. Real good risk to reward. We set up a game plan. We found our trigger and our entry. I mean, my stop loss would have been above 54.50 if I would have taken that short there. I would have probably got in around the 30 level in the 30s. So 54.32 to 34 area, and then I would have had a stop out right above 54.50. And in this situation, we just had $1 short. Now it's just all trade management at this point, but in reality, we're pulling up a little bit here, but 53.50 was not enough of a pullback for how overextended this is. Knowing and understanding how much monetary it should pull back allows us to be able to manage our trade and not just get out completely. It gives us the confidence to hold a runner. It gives us confidence to hold some of our positions instead of just getting out on the first up bar. And if that's an issue you have, then that's more of a game plan issue and trusting a game plan. But again, I wouldn't allow my trade to go up against me 50 cents as well. So I would have limited exposure off that bounce of 53.50. And honestly, I would have been out on that second bar. Understanding that there is more room, however. I didn't see really any buying on this whole push up here. That was just scaring out some shorts, honestly. I didn't see any buying. We're still super overextended, looking for a trigger. Still looking for a trigger here. I'm looking for another entry. Price target 53, overall 52. Number one short trade. Looking for some continuation short here on this bar. Need a trigger. There we go. Needs continuation. Boom. When you know your game plan and you know how this stock is so overextended and where it needs to go, that up movement, it really doesn't shake you out. It'll limit your exposure on your first short trade to number one short trade. But again, you would be looking for another entry, just knowing how overextended it is and where it really should pull back to. I mean, this stock gave you two opportunities for entries, two shorts. Off 54 to 53.50, you limit your exposure. It breaks above 54, you wouldn't allow yourself to be in any more of your position. Another trigger right when it broke above 54, we got to trigger right back down. Still have more room here, but we have to understand there's some traffic here. There's an orb line here, so it's not going to be as smooth sailing. We have to keep that in consideration. Or not. I mean, it works as well, but more often than not, we're going to see some bounces there, so we have to be mindful. But we got our conservative price target of 53. 52 is essentially where it should pull back from what 53 told us, right? But we have to be conservative as well. I mean, and that's pretty much just our trade right there. That's our number one short trade. It doesn't get any better than trades like that. That's just textbook trading right there. This is how you create a game plan. You outline scenarios and you find the information that tells you which scenario is now, and then still understand the overall it's extended. The more it gets extended, the larger the pullbacks are going to be, right? 53, 53.50, 54, and a couple ask at 52, 54.50 extended, right? Without a proper pullback, without a pullback more than 50 cents, right? We know that pullback is going to happen all at once when stocks get overextended like that. And boom, number one short trade, hit our price target, and now we're still in our runner here. Overall, realistic price target was 53, conservative price target, I should say, and then we should get to 52 at some point. 53 on the ask above print personality this morning told us that we should pull back to 52 at least. So we still have that in mind, right? But not always going to be smooth sailing to that 52. We understand that we can consolidate, we can insert some patterns, we could break above 53 here. So it's just trade management at this point. But thank you all for listening. I hope you take some information out of here. I hope these are useful to you. I hope they provide you value in terms of screen time. Thank you for listening, and yep, take care.